What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 2 of the Building Business Credit series. In this series, I am breaking down exactly how I'm going about getting business credit or building business credit without using using my social at all or getting any personal guarantees for any of the credit I'm extended. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how I went about getting credit lines added to my credit report, what those credit lines are, and why I chose those lines specifically. So if that's something that interests you and you're looking to build business credit yourself, you might want to stay tuned. Hey y'all, I'm Tomy Boboy, your credit and personal finance coach. If this is your first time on my channel, I'd just like to say welcome. Typically on this channel, I'm talking about things related to credit and personal finance. So if you're interested in improving your credit and achieving financial freedom, then be sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my future videos. Now let's jump into the next episode of business credit. So y'all, I did write a few updates down in terms of what I had done since the last episode. For those of you guys who didn't catch the first episode, I'll link to it down below. Basically, the first episode was really about me building a foundation, right, in terms of credibility. I talked about how I got set up a website, how I got a phone number, how I got my business started, EIN, basically all the foundational stuff that you need to have before you could even think about getting credit to start with. Now, another thing that I did mention in the last episode, but I actually decided to go forward with, was setting up the Duns & Bradstreet as well as the Experian business accounts. Okay. Now, previously, what I wanted to do was just apply for the credits and then let them automatically set up the accounts. But what I decided to go forward and do was just set up my Duns & Bradstreet account. That way I could make sure that it was updated with an updated what's called address, phone number, all that stuff, as well as I did the exact same thing with Experian Business, because those are really going to be the main two bureaus that I'm going to focus on. But more specifically, I really just want to focus on Duns & Bradstreet, but I know that some lenders will look at the Experian Business as well. Now, my main focus in this episode is going to be vendor credit, right? Now, vendor credit it really just comes in the form of net terms. So you can think of, like, for example, if you order something today and you had vendor credit, that vendor would let you extend or actually pay for that item, let's say 30 days out or 60 days out or even up to 90 days out. So that means if I order something in January, I might get until March to actually have to pay for those goods. So they'll already send it out and everything to me, but I won't have to make the payments till afterwards. I like to look at this as kind of like if you had a store card for your personal credit, right? That's the way you want to kind of look at it. But I think this is way more powerful, especially if you're really looking to build and grow a business. So you may be wondering, why did I decide to go on this path and start off with vendor credit as opposed to trying to get like some sort of credit cards and things like that? Well, these are typically going to be the easiest types of credit to get, especially for new businesses. So if you just started your business, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get these type of vendor credit, because they're really just, they're going to extend you a little bits of credit at a time, right? And as they see that you're paying it back, you're ordering from them and you're paying it back, it makes more sense for them to continue to make your limits larger and larger. Okay. Now, this can really be a game changer for anyone if you're looking to improve your cash to cash cycle time. So one thing that I've realized is key, especially when you're growing a business, is how fast you can basically turn a dollar into more money, right? How fast can you put in $1 and take $1 and make $2 out, for example? But one of the ways that you can do things like that is vendor credit, because what that means is you can pretty much order something, right? Let's say, for example, I had a supplier and I was able to order my product from him and I didn't have to pay him for 30 days or 60 days. If in that 30 to 60 days, I could already sell that product and make money off of it, I really wouldn't need, if you think about it, I basically made money out of nothing, right? And that's kind of the idea of what large retailers are doing, right? Think about it, for example, like a Walmart. A lot of the stuff that you see on the shelves at Walmart hasn't even paid for. Typically what they're doing is they are going to the actual, let's say, for example, you owned a soap company where you made soap, right? What you would do is you would go to Walmart and say, hey, can I sell this soap in your Walmart, right? In your Walmart stores. Walmart would look at you and say, okay, that's fine. Let's order 100,000 bars of soap. And what they'll tell you is, we're not going to pay for this bar of soap until 90 days pass. So what they'll do is they'll take all that soap that you give them, they'll sell it through their stores, and after 90 days, then they'll give you your money back, right? Or they'll pay you for the soap that you sold them that 90 days ago, right? And so for them, it's pretty much like they made money not having to do much, right? They just, yes, they own the store and they have to have the infrastructure and everything. But when it comes to the actual product on the shelves, they are basically able to sell it before they actually have to make payments on the product or actually purchase the product, right? So that's really the benefit of it, right? You can see where it can be really powerful because it can help you really grow a business, blow a business up. A lot of people have said Walmart would be bankrupt if they actually had to buy everything that they have on their shelves, right? And that's something that you want to keep in mind, because once you have a business that's starting to grow, if you can find opportunities where you can leverage vendor credit, you're going to see that you're going to be able to grow a lot faster because you don't have to put money into everything that you're doing. So in terms of why I decided to do that, besides just those points that I mentioned, another thing is this is going to be a great way for me to segue into revolving credit lines. Okay, so any type of revolving accounts like credit cards, for example, I'm going to be able to get those once that I have set a kind of a base of vendor credit. So when companies can actually pull up my report and see that I have all these other credit lines, they're going to be more willing to extend to me more revolving type of credit lines. Now, in terms of the credit lines that I actually used, first off, right off the bat, one that I used was Uline. So for those of you guys who have heard of Uline, they basically sell different types of shipping supplies, but also sell an assortment of random other stuff, right? It's pretty much, you could think of it in terms of like, they kind of lean more towards warehousing, but I was able to get different stuff like envelopes and mail and paper, things like that. So they have a large assortment of stuff that they sell. The good thing is they actually report to both of the bureaus that we're looking at, which was Duns & Bradstreet and Experian, which is perfect. In terms of the process, it was really easy. I was able to, basically I registered for an account, and then 4 days later, I placed an order and was able to select net 30 terms on their checkout page. So they made it really simple. I placed for an order for about, it came out to, around $55 with tax and shipping and everything included, and it gave me no trouble. So this is hands down probably the easiest credit line that I had to sign up for. Another credit line that I signed up for was Crown Office Supplies. Now, Crown Office Supply reports to all major business credit bureaus, okay? So Duns & Bradstreet, Experian Business, they also do Equifax, Credit Safe, SBFE, and NACM, okay? So that was a plus about them. But one thing that they do is they do charge a $99 annual fee for you to be able to access the net 30 terms account or application, okay? And on top of that, you do have to place an order. So what I ended up doing was I ended up actually signing up for the $99 annual fee and ended up actually placing an order for about $40. So all in, I probably spent about $140 for this credit line. Okay. Now I like to look at them in terms of, for those of you guys who've seen my other videos, I did a video about store cards for personal credit, like My Jewelers Club, New Coast Direct, things like that. I kind of liken them to the business credit version of those cards. Okay. So if you're someone who's just starting to build your credit, these are kind of accounts that you might need to do for you to be able to just, jumpstart and get your credit built extremely quickly. Okay. So that was the benefit with them. And the process was really simple. They should have it reporting probably by next month. I'll have that reporting on my account as well. And last, the other account that I did was Duns & Bradstreet, or excuse me, Quill. Okay. So Quill reports to Duns & Bradstreet, and they're more of like an office supplies type of company. In terms of pricing, depending on what you're getting, it might be a little bit, the prices might be a little inflated, but nonetheless, they're solid when it comes to terms. And so what I did was I placed an order. The first order I placed was I had to prepay. It looks like now, because of the current conditions and what we have going on, they are, they're forcing everyone to prepay their, at least the first order from what I was seeing. And they actually said, I had reached out, funny enough, after I placed the order, the next day I reached out to them via chat, right? I reached out to support through their chat feature, and their support team told me that, they didn't offer terms until 90 days. So you have to wait 3 months before you can even get any type of vendor credit. But after I placed that order, literally, I'll probably say about a week and a half later, I reached out to their actual customer service line. Like I called them, right? And I just told them, hey, I needed net terms. And they ended up placing another order. We placed another order over the phone, no credit information, nothing like that. And the order was notated. So I should be getting terms on that account within the following week. Okay. Now, one thing that I do think that was a plus was I didn't try to go over and say, hey, I need credit, I need vendor credit. I specifically told them, hey, I'm looking for net terms, because that's going to be more of like business lingo as opposed to whenever you're saying like you want credit. When you talk about net terms, that is more understandable, at least from what I've seen talking to them over the phone, right? They understood that, you know, I'm running a business and I'm looking to just kind of, you know, extend the pay cycle. And so she basically, like, pretty simply, she first tried to look at my account and then she saw, hey, let's place an order. If you have to do an order through us over the phone to be able to get the credit. Then what we can do is I can send this over to the credit department, and then that way they can get you approved. So that's what I ended up doing. So I'd recommend that what you do is place an order, like prepay the order, right? You're gonna pay for it cash, and then what you do is wait a couple weeks and then reach out to them and tell them that you want to place an order again, but you're wondering if they have net terms. And that's the kind of process that's worked great for me. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Those are basically the three companies that I used. Okay. Basically what you want to do in terms of vendor credit is you want to get 3 vendor credit lines showing up on your credit report, and you want to have at least 2 buyer experiences, or 2, let's say, purchase experiences. So that means that you want to see that there's been 2 transactions done, right? So you've made 2 purchases out of at least 3 of those lines. Now, me, I decided to just do it through all 3 of them, right? Just figured better safe than sorry. And I was actually buying materials that I needed for my business anyways. So it kind of worked out perfectly. But I'm going to wait, probably give it about a month or so for those to get established and everything. And then I'm going to move on to the next phase. Now, in terms of the next phase, what I'm planning on doing is I'm actually going to be looking at 2 different things. One is more revolving lines of credit, right? Kind of like what we were mentioning previously. You know, getting those revolving accounts from even bigger companies, right? I'm looking to see if maybe I'll qualify for some companies like Office Depot. I was actually even looking at Apple, but I think Apple is going to be something that I probably won't qualify for a while on. But looking for companies like that can give me a revolving line of credits, as well as I'm going to be looking into fintech credit cards. Now, this is actually a new thing that has really been blowing up recently, is fintech business credit cards, where instead of them looking at your credit, they find other means to be able to extend you credit, and even give you actual credit cards, right? So that's something that I'm going to be looking at too within the next coming month or so. And that's pretty much what I've done so far and where I'm headed, guys. So that's going to be the gist of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for following along, and I hope that you are also not only looking at these videos but taking action. That I hope that you are actually, you know, kind of following along with me and following behind me, right? Everything I'm showing you guys that I'm doing in the videos, you guys are giving it a try too. My main goal with this was to be able to help everyone be able to get business credit, because I think this is the fundamental, really fundamental, and can be a game changer whenever you're trying to actually build a business. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much it. Guys, if you enjoyed the series so far, make sure that you check out the first video. If you haven't, I'll link to it down below. I'm also going to link to all the different vendor credits that I applied for. That way you can access them. Links will be down below as well. And make sure that you subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss the next update that I do. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much it for this video. Throw a like on this video as well, and I will see you at the next one.